Over the past 18 months, Energy Media has done dozens and dozens of interviews with experts from around the world about how new technology is transforming the electricity system, both Canada, North America, Europe, China, everywhere you go. So a lot of those technologies are obvious ones, like wind, solar, and batteries, but many of them are not. And we're going to talk to Mischa Steiner of Awesense, a Vancouver-based company that has put together a meeting place, if you will, a marketplace where developers of these technologies can collaborate. So welcome to the interview, Mischa.
Well, glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Now, look, what you do goes on behind the scenes. Most of our viewers won't be familiar with it. So maybe just a brief overview, if you will, about the companies that are going to be using your marketplace.
Yeah, sure. So maybe we can just describe what we're all trying to achieve first. I think the overarching goal is to rapidly decarbonize the energy system, and electrical being, a good portion of that. And so as we're trying to decarbonize the system, the applications and solutions and algorithms that are being put in place are highly decentralized and utilizing a lot of infrastructure like renewables and storage, and a lot of these new technologies that are coming to fruition, and that frankly that we've been working with for many years, but there hasn't been an underlying solution architecture for them to all collaborate and work together. And so what needs to exist between the physical assets that are outside, and those applications and solutions and algorithms is a digital layer that enables and accelerates those solutions. So that digital layer is what Awesense provides and what our platform does. And the marketplace announcement was really about how we can bring these solutions together to accelerate this transition.
Now, I can hear some of our readers going, well, so why is this important to me? And I want to explain that a little bit. So over the last 100 years or so, most utilities have been a vertically integrated model. They do everything. They generate, transmit the electricity, distribute it to your home or business. Now, because of all of these new technologies, we're moving to a very horizontal model where it's more like a web, and consumers become generators of electricity, prosumers, if you will, and everybody's trading services back and forth. Now, we won't see this as much in Canada, but you certainly see it emerging in the United States and in Europe and some of the Asian countries. And it's that new model, the distributed energy resource platform is often how it's referred to, that the technologies that you're dealing with, if I understand correctly, facilitates all of that.
Yeah, that's right. And we're very fortunate here in Canada to have, three of the largest hydro generation resources and assets in the world, BC, Manitoba, and Quebec. And we also have, really strong nuclear in Ontario. So we have quite affordable energy. But like you said, in other parts of the world, there is a massive paradigm shift, a massive transition that is happening to that decentralization layer that I talked about. So, and you described it perfectly, the web, right? Really think of this as like the internet of energy, where the energy production is in many, many locations, and can hopefully we get to a point where they can communicate and cooperate with each other, just like we do on the internet, using TCP/IP. Now, the industry is not there yet, but that's part of what we're trying to help achieve.
Right. And I think this is really important for folks to understand, is how much capital is flowing into these types of industries and how much innovation there is. I mean, I watch this as an outsider. I don't understand, not an engineer, I don't understand the technical part, but I do understand the amount of innovation that's happening. And innovation is what drives change. It's what is going to drive the decarbonization of our energy system. It's going to be making electricity cheaper, more reliable, and cleaner. And I'm so impressed at the amount of innovation that's being applied to, like, the electricity system.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just increasing reliability, but resiliency too, right? So you see the massive unfortunate events like you have in Texas, where they have a shutdown in the energy infrastructure. And so the innovation has really been happening really rapidly for the last decade, and we're just in this precipice where the technologies are really accelerating, and the adoption of technologies are really accelerating. I mean, in places like California and Arizona, solar is prevalent in those areas, and now we're starting to get more affordable storage. And now we're starting to see other technologies like the rapid rise of EV infrastructure come in as well. And I believe we'll also see technologies like V2G, or vehicle to grid, where the car itself can act as a battery and a battery backup for the building or home. So all of these things are coming together all at once. And many of our companies, like ours, we're heading into our 12th year of operation. We've been working on all of this in the background, and now it's becoming prime time for consumers to access all this technology as well. And it's a really exciting paradigm shift that's happening in energy.
Final observation / question for you, Mischa. I'm fond of saying that in the energy transition, the first 2 decades are the new technologies they're at the beginning of the curve, and they're slowly working their way up to the inflection point. And it's usually the 3rd decade where they hit the inflection point and begin to rapidly accelerate, as you were saying. So would you agree that the 2020s is going to be a very rapid decade of rapid disruption in the electrical system, as the technologies you're working on and your clients are working on become adopted by the energy systems?
Yeah, without question. And we already see it in many areas in the electrical grid already. And you see, not only do you see grid defection from some large customers, but many large industrials are leading the charge in terms of not only increasing their own reliability, but their and resilience, but also focusing on their own decarbonization efforts, right? So they are buying solar, they are buying renewables, they are installing storage, they are working on decarbonizing their own solution. And the utilities, there's many forward-looking, forward thought-leading utilities too that are focused on this as well. And so, in the United States and Europe and some parts of Asia, as you mentioned, the rapid change is well underway, and the vertically integrated utilities, some of them have a forward-looking position on this, and some don't. And I honestly believe the ones that don't are unfortunately going to be left behind while this rapid change happens. And it's definitely happening now.
Mischa, thank you very much for your insights. Really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.